Welcome to Mr. and Miss Connections. I'm your host, Andrew.
And I'm Leilani.
Welcome to the podcast where we would normally go to a random city's misconnection section, look at the posts, and see the people that are looking for love or the people that are looking to make bad mistakes. Like following women into buildings just to say, hey, I think you looked at me on the train and your eyes said you wanted this. No? That's weird. I thought that's what it... I don't know how to read women. That's why I'm on here. Bye!
That's when they get tased.
But we are currently on a little special occasion kind of thing. We're doing part 2 of our horrific, horrible, bad dates. Because of October, we're doing horrifyingly bad dates. This is part 2, so if you want to see part 1, that's last week's episode. But this week, we are going to do a bit of news, and in news this week, we're going to be playing a game of Who Is That App For? So I found an article for a new dating app, and it's for a very specific group of people, for a very specific region of the United States. And we're going to see if Leilani can...
I like how you just, picked me and decided I'm the one doing this.
Because I found the story.
This is true, and there's only 2 of us.
If I found the story and I'm like, here, quiz me. So let's go through. We have different apps and different dating sites now. I mean, there's a plethora of them.
There's too many.
There's so many. Back then, it was like eHarmony, it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Tinder, it's for everybody. But then we have JDate, which is for mainly Jewish people. We have blackpeoplemeet.com. I think I don't have to explain that one further. We have farmersonly.com. We have Christian Mingle.
Yeah.
We have all these for all these different people and regions. But there's one that's very specific in a very specific location of the United States. I want to see if you can guess the people or a culture of people that it's for. And then we can guess on what place it's for. So you get 3 guesses at what type of people and what places. I want you to guess both of them at the same time. So what is this new app?
Can I ask questions?
You can have 2 questions answered.
No!
You know what? No questions.
Why?
I'm gonna give you hints. Just beginning. This app is for more. It's more based on people of a religion.
Mormons.
Yes.
Yes! I'm wearing my Book of Mormon sweater, by the way.
It's for Mormons. For
okay.
What area?
Salt Lake City.
Nope.
Oh, that's where they come from.
Yeah. Why would they need an app? They know where all the places are to meet.
But it's within the United States?
Yes. Facing a tiny dating pool, blank Mormons turn to a new app.
Vegas.
Nope. One more guess.
No.
One last guess.
Oh.
Good content right here.
Sorry.
Maybe I'll put in some music.
Yeah, exactly. Put in thinking music or something. This is hard.
And because... And when I think of thinking music, I think everybody thinks of the Jeopardy theme song. I'll put in All That Remains 2 weeks. Want some thinking music? Ride the waves.
God, where are they? Could be located.
Just name a city.
Orlando.
No. I'll give you one more hint. It's one of the cities we've done for this podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
San Francisco.
No. And that was your last guess.
No!
It's New York City.
Dang it! See, no, I was going to say that, but I was like, no. I don't think they would have that there.
This is from NewYorkDailyNews.com. And it says, facing a tiny dating pool, New York City Mormons turn to new app. They're looking for big love in the Big Apple. That's what the headline, that's the first line of it. In a religion where only marrying another Mormon allows you to enter the highest of heaven, single Mormons in the New York area feel trapped in their tiny local dating pool. Women
Really?
outnumber men in the Mormon church, and everyone seems to know everyone in the city's young single adult stake, which is similar to, I don't know these. There are about 2,000 unmarried Mormons in the greater New York City area.
Jeez.
That's a lot. And let me tell everybody, all those single men out there, apparently this church has a lot more women. So if you're looking for some women, convert.
No, don't do that, because my friend did that.
To the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yeah. She, yeah.
Or LDS, as they call it in here. But yeah, that's a dating app that's sort of a Tinder for Mormons is hoping to help people like Roger who feel left behind. Released last year, the app already has 100,000 worldwide users.
Dang.
Can we get on this?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, I kind of want to try this. What's the name of the app? Mutual.
But you're willing to convert?
No, I just want to see how my Church of Latter-day Saints like this. Like a little piece of Andrew.
Wow. All I gotta say.
There was, do they do the Mormons do like a pilgrimage or like they go off to like learn something for like months on end?
Yeah, they go, from what I learned from the Book of Mormon, and from my two friends who are Mormon, and one is no longer Mormon.
Mammon.
Basically, they go on, I don't know what it is, or pilgrimage, or task, or whatever that they do. They go with, like, a buddy system, and then they go, and then they preach about the religion, like, mostly. Like, they go to different, it's missions.
Yeah,
they go on
that's
missions.
it. That's it. Yeah.
You see them with the white shirts, black ties, they ride bikes everywhere with helmets.
Yeah.
And then, yeah.
Because I actually got way long ago, while I was still in college, I was on Tinder a lot, and there was a girl that I matched up with, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be heading out to mission soon," and I was like, "Oh, you're a missionary?" And she goes, "I'm Mormon, and I have to go out, and then I'll be gone for a couple months." And I was like, "Oh, that stinks." And then she's like, "Oh yeah, if you ever want to get a hold of me, you can write me like a handheld letter."
Aw.
And I was like, we just started talking. Like, I don't think I'm at that stage to I wasn't looking for anything serious. I was just looking to chat online, and I was just like, if I send you a handheld letter while you're on missions, I feel like I'm giving you the wrong message. Like,
Maybe she just wanted a friend.
she has a ton of friends.
She does?
I was on, I got a hold of her Facebook.
Yeah.
And she was like doing party pictures. She was out with all her friends and family. Like, she had a big friends and family group right before she left for the missions. So I was like, oh, that's really awesome. But she was, yeah. And then she like left for a while and came back, and I think she exchanged an email with me, and then I think she got super busy.
No.
I was getting ready to graduate, so it was kind of like, but yeah, so that's my little, I didn't even remember that when I found that story, but hey, at least I can contribute with moments. But that's something else, to be like, you can only marry a Mormon. And
you can, you and your significant other can only be the ones when they actually marry. Like, there's no one else around. It's you, your husband or wife or whatever, and then the person marrying you. That's it.
Yeah. Just like a courthouse date.
Kind of, basically.
Or when you go to Las Vegas and it's just like...
You and Elvis's.
Yeah, you and your other drunk spouse, and then the Elvis impersonator who's like, yeah, let's do this. But like we said earlier, this is different. It's kind of episode. We're going to be reading 4 more stories of horrible bad dates from a website we found called abadcaseofthedates.com. This person has done a really great job. Go look at some of these stories. If you're feeling down and want to feel better about yourself, go read some of these stories. They're really good. They're user sent in. Like, these are all user sent in, not like this one person's just making up stories. These, like, they send them to this person and then they put it on their site. But they do really great. They have a Patreon, so if you go read some stories, like them, you can just go to the site. I mean, it has ads on it, so it helps them out in either way, whether you give to the Patreon or give to the ads. But let's get into it. We have 4 more stories. Again, this is not what we normally do. We normally go on Misconnections Craigslist and read them out. That's fun, but we're going to do this because of October and Halloween and all that other stuff. So this one comes from March of 2011. Don't most people have those every day?
What?
Yeah, this is one of their more popular ones. The ones that have the later date is the most popular ones.
Oh, okay.
So there's a mixture between 2 really popular ones and then 2 like just very recent ones.
Okay.
So this one's one of the more popular ones. Kelly and I got to know each other online over the span of about 2 weeks. She struck me as very smart, but also very sensitive and a little tense. My usual manner is a bit dry, but I did my best to come across as the kind of guy she'd want to meet. At my suggestion, she agreed to meet me at a centrally located restaurant for our first date. I made it there about 10 minutes early, which was right around when she called to tell me that she'd be 10 minutes late. Rather than wait next to the fish tank by the host station, must be at Red Lobster, I grabbed a table and seat facing the doorway, which is a great move, by the way. I love, if you're waiting on somebody, I just love having a table right next to the doorway, because then you're like, there's nothing worse than walking into a restaurant being like, hey, is this person here? And then they're like, oh yeah, good. And then you're just like doing that weird thing where you're like trying to stretch your neck out like a giraffe, trying to like find them, and you're like squinting, and you're like, oh, is this place normally this dark? And then they have to do the hand wave. So I just love having it, and it's just like, oh, there you are. Here I am. We're already in sight's eye. Kelly's entrance still chills me to this day. The door opened, in walked a woman matching her physical description. She stopped, turned slowly to me, and I saw that she wore an orange plastic mask that was half comedy, half crescent moon. I couldn't see her eyes or any of the facial features, and she walked slowly to my table as if she was coming to reap my soul. When she arrived, she stood above me and didn't sit. Jacob? She asked. Kelly? She said, I'm having a bad face day, and it's up to you. I asked, what is? She said, whether or not you want to go ahead with the date, I'm all aboard for it if you want to postpone. What are you talking about? My face doesn't look great today. I want to keep this mask on, but I'll understand either way if you want to go ahead with the date or not. I asked, you wouldn't take the mask off for the date? She shook her head. Okay, let's postpone. She says, I'm sorry. It's okay, I said, and then she stared at me from within the mask. It would have been okay, but the way she was standing, she was blocking my exit path. I stared back for a few seconds before I said, excuse me? She moved out of my way but continued to stare. I put my jacket on, zipped up, gave her a final nod, and left. She didn't move other than turning her head to watch me go. I never called her after that, couldn't risk another bad anything day. It was just too creepy.
I'm lost for words at this one.
Can I just say that was a really good one for this like Halloween horror one?
Yes, with
like,
the mask.
Just a mask. I don't know what I would do if like a girl just came in and would, or even one of my friends just came walking into the restaurant with a mask on. You're just like, what?
I'm like, well, hey, what state are you in? Because that's against the law. I learned the hard way about that. You can't wear a mask in public unless it's like Halloween or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did the restaurant like okay this? Just to let her go through? Like, excuse me, ma'am.
I don't know. Maybe they were just like, yeah, we've seen her in here before.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
all
totally
her
cool.
dates, she comes in with the mask.
Yeah. I just want you to know that you're here for me.
What if that's like a test that she does to dudes?
It's not a good one.
I know that.
I think it's terrible. I think it's a terrible idea. Because then you got that weirdo. I think it's the weirdo that sticks around and is like, all right, let's do it. Yeah. Because that could be really bad for her if she gets like a really crazy guy and he's just like, oh, I wanted a mask. Come on, girl.
That was creepy, the noise you made.
We don't have to stay here. Let's grab some ribs and then we can go to my place. But leave the mask on.
Oh my god.
It's like, how about we don't? I don't know. That's just... There was actually a guy on The Bachelorette where he had a mask on. He came up. Like, all these dudes were ripped. They're, like, just solid muscle and all this other stuff. And this guy, he's clearly not as everybody else's stature. Like, he's not super tall. He's not super buff or anything, but he just came walking up and he had the mask on, and he basically was like, I just want to know that I want you to get to know me on the inside before we get into all this. So it was fine. The first whole night, all the dudes are like, "What? Who's the guy in the mask? Who's the Phantom of the Opera and all this other stuff?" And it was just a black mask.
Yeah. Oh, that was
like it wasn't like Phantom of the Opera. It was just like a black masquerade mask. And finally, like it was like the next day he decided to take it off and make this like big reveal, and it was just he looked like a normal like 34-year-old dude, like. And, like, they made a huge thing of it. Like, he was just like, can I take you away? Like, they were about to leave for a date. And then he's like, before we go, can I see you in the backyard? And they went out there by the pool. And he was just, like, talking about how he had a great night the other night, which was last night, that they all met. And then he was just like, I feel comfortable and I want to be able to. And then he did the whole reveal. And her face was just like, oh.
That's bad.
And then I think that. The night where they're hanging all the roses, she was just like, all right, you can go home now. And he's just like, okay. He just left.
Wow.
And I was just like, that was the biggest waste of time ever.
Maybe he should have kept the mask on.
That's what everybody was saying. Like, he should have just kept it on, been more mysterious and all this other stuff. But it just wouldn't have worked out, I think. It was a great ploy because it got him to past the first night of the rose ceremony. Because I think he would have been gone because he didn't have... If you have to go to a mask, you don't have a real hook.
Yeah, that's
the
true.
only thing. Everybody else has a hook. They come out on like a camel or something to make them more memorable.
That I would just be like, no, I'm pass.
Yeah. But luckily she was in a place with like a whole bunch of dudes and like camera crew. Like if some guys just comes in wearing a mask in a restaurant, I think they're the ones that are like getting arrested and stuff.
I'd be like, are you okay? Do you need to cover your face?
Yeah. I wouldn't even ask questions. I'd just be
really?
like, what's going on? Like, are you seriously not going to take it off? And then she says no. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to head out.
See, how
are you going to eat if, by the way the mask is? Like,
well, it's like, you're like underneath
that's so
the
weird.
mask, just like put it through.
Nope, that's a deal breaker. That is a deal breaker. But yeah. Would you ever wear a mask to hide your face? Maybe test a male?
No, I don't. No, that's just a game I wouldn't play.
Yeah.
It's just like, nah.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, if you're having not a great face day, just maybe don't show up. Or maybe just go, and then if he doesn't like you because you don't have a great face day, then it's not worth it.
I also don't... I've never really heard of not a great face day.
Yeah.
I've heard of bad hair day.
No, bad face day.
I've never heard of a bad face day.
Well, if you break out, or just, yeah.
That's called life.
I understand that.
That's just called life. It's not a bad face day.
It's a bad face day.
You know what you can say, though? Some people have a bad face life.
Wow.
And I mean, you gotta be like... But that's all subjective on who's saying who doesn't have a bad face or who has a bad face.
Well, you could have a bad face.
That's called Tinder. That's who judges you.
This is true.
All right, this one's called Heroin. And this is by Tabitha. Frank messaged me online, and we had enough in common for me to say yes when he asked me out for dinner and drinks. What we didn't have in common, I found out very quickly. He approached me as we had agreed outside of the restaurant, but his speech was slurred and he was doing some sort of shuffle dance as if he was incapable of standing still. You okay? I asked him. You need to use the bathroom? He replied, probably. I shot up a little too much. And shut up? He said, then shuffled his way into the restaurant. I went inside with him and asked, can I call you a cab? I don't think you should be out in the state you're in. He said, nah, I'm good. And you're pretty. We sat down at the bar and he ordered us drinks. It's Casanova over here. Nah, like that's how he like blows past it. Nah, I'm good. And you pretty. And it's just like, oh, well, all is forgiven. A friend of mine from high school had been a heroin addict who thankfully had detoxed, so I at least vaguely knew how to deal with such a person. I thought that I could have probably convinced him to go home, but he needed help. I thought it was dramatic, but calling 911 seemed to be my only option. These women and calling 911. First the guy on last week's episode with the whole serial killer, and now the heroin addict.
Just ladies, take care of it yourself. Jeez.
What does a guy have to do to not be called 911 on them?
That's a hard one.
Yeah, right? I'm surprised I didn't get called 911 on me. This guy is terrible. Arrest him. He didn't give me a flower outside from the guy. He didn't buy me Star Wars episodes 1 through 3 on Blu-ray at Target. Arrest him.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, that was the one girl that was like, don't you want to buy me this?
Really? That's what she wanted?
She went around the whole store doing it. But that was one of the things. She was like, I don't like Star Wars that much. And no. I excused myself from the bar, called 911, and asked for an ambulance. Again, maybe dramatic, but remembering my friend, this guy was probably someone else's friend, and what if he didn't have the support that my friend did? I waited outside and met the two paramedics there. I explained the situation, described Frank, and they went inside to pick him up. They apparently did it without incident, as he went with them willingly from what I could see. They brought him inside the ambulance and were in there with him for a little while before one of them emerged and told me that they were going to bring him to the hospital. I followed the ambulance there. Wow, she's very nice.
That is a really nice chick.
She decided to go to the ambulance with him. Waited in the waiting room, and the doctor was nice enough to give me at least some limited information, even though I was just a friend, quote-unquote. His condition wasn't terrible, but they were going to keep an eye on him and try to put him into a detox program. Dang. I left the hospital and never heard from him again, thinking that my obligation ended at that point. He was in good hands. That was 5 years ago, and I didn't hear from him again until this past January.
What?
I received a card from him in the mail that basically said, I don't know if you remember me, but I wanted to thank you for your help that night. I've been off of heroin for almost 4 years. Thank you. I cried when I read that. I didn't finish that story. I'm glad I waited.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's super nice. So it wasn't technically a bad dating story. Like, it was a bad dating story, but it was a happy life story.
That is really... Man, see, that girl's awesome.
That was really good. Good on you, Tabitha.
Right? Because she could have left him and all that, and what if he stumbled out, got hit by a car or something?
I think, well, say what you will, I think this was fate, that she had this terrible date, because, like she said, she had a friend. I don't know how many people could say they had a friend that was on heroin and then got detoxed, because she seemed to be very knowledgeable about the situation and what behaviors there was. Think about another person that never had that experience. They could have just left him at the bar and been like, when she went to go to the paramedics, I mean, somebody could have been like, I'm going to go to the bathroom, and then just left him. Mm-hmm. Then he could have been in a ditch somewhere, whereas she knew the situation, knew what to look for, and then did the right thing. And then he did the right thing by keep on with the detoxing program and beasted it out for 4 years plus. That was back in 2011, so hopefully he's still Still going strong. But finally, a good thing came out of these bad dates.
That was really, really good.
So far, we've had terrible experiences after terrible experiences.
Yeah.
Like not finding the good salad cafe.
Don't bring her up.
Gosh, man. All right, this one's called Contain Yourself. Lisa had one of those online profiles that made your heart skip a beat. It was well written, funny, and her photos were drop dead gorgeous. We had read the same books, loved the same films, and even both hated pistachio ice cream. Just what every man is looking for in a woman. The same books, films, and the hatred of pistachio ice cream. I didn't write to women over the dating site too often, but I would have been a fool not to write to Lisa. And she wrote back. And she was nice and articulate. We kept up a fine conversation for a few weeks until we finally had the time in our schedules for a date. I took her out for dinner to a crepe place that she said she liked. We ate crepes, drank, and had a great time. I was happy with how it went, and apparently so was she. Since she called me up the next day to ask me when we were going out again. For a second date, I had the idea to take her out on a picnic. Good second date. If a girl likes crepes, she likes picnics. That's just math right there. The weather had become consistently nice. It was spring, and we both liked the outdoors. I picked a park, packed some food, and met her there. We sat down on the meadow right by a stream. To say it was idyllic was, to be completely honest, it was like one out of a greeting card. Gosh, too perfect. A stream and a meadow
with crepes.
With a picnic. Oh, you just know how to treat Lisa right. After we ate and chatted for a little bit, she gazed across the meadow and stared. Asked her what it was that she saw. Maybe a deer, a bear, some people. She replied, I think I just saw my ex.
Oh, God.
I looked across the field and didn't see anyone. However, we were probably by some paths, and it was probably possible that one of them snaked through the meadow before turning back into the woods or something. Before I could reply, she jumped to her feet, handed me her sandwich to hold, and said she'd be right back. She tore across the field towards the trees and was lost to sight. Like she was just gone. Also, that's like something out of like one of those like comedy like action movies, like hold my sandwich and then walks off.
Yeah.
Was she ditching me? The thought had unfortunately crossed my mind, but she had left a pair of Tupperware containers behind, and I figured that at the very least she'd be back for them. Because all girls don't want to lose their Tupperware, right?
No.
That's why they had those parties.
Right?
Like Tupperware parties. Are those still a thing in 2017?
I don't know. I hope not. Maybe in certain regions that have it.
I don't know. Maybe Fago. Maybe Fago. Hey, don't you know there, Diane? Do you want to go have a Tupperware party this weekend?
You went like Bostonian there.
I don't know how to say any of those words in Fargo. Like, I don't think Fargo ever said Diane and Tupperware.
No, it's mostly like Kathy and Susan. Those kinds of names.
Yeah, oh, don't you know? I need some more Tupperware, don't you know? Okay, so she wasn't right back, as she said she'd be. So after almost 30 minutes, I packed up our stuff and headed off in the direction she had gone. I called for her up and down and deserted paths, but she didn't respond. I went to the parking lot and her car was still there.
What?
I knew she'd eventually have to return to it, so I waited there for a little while longer, maybe another half an hour. So this dude has been waiting over an hour. When she still didn't show up, I left a concerned note on her windshield and put her Tupperware containers on the hood. Then I left, albeit with a bad feeling. I didn't hear from her that night, despite having left her a text and a voicemail. I didn't hear from her the next day either. I wrote her an email to ask if she was okay. She wrote back the next day. It was a single line telling me how rude and thoughtless I was for leaving the Tupperware on her car. so that anyone could have just come by and steal them. I wrote back that it wasn't nearly as rude as just getting up and disappearing in the middle of our date. She then responded that I was lucky that nothing had happened to her containers because if something did, she'd call a lawyer on me. I wrote back that I hoped that her and her containers would have a very happy life together, and that was it.
Again, I'm left speechless with this.
Yeah, there was no joke. There's no joke to these Tupperwares. You know how long of a line I had to go and get on these Tupperwares? I've been collecting them for years. And you were just going to leave them on my hood. No lie, I would probably have taken the Tupperwares.
Exactly.
I would have taken them. But then again, if somebody, like, is that crazy about them, I wouldn't want to see them again after that.
Well, I'm surprised that he didn't call the police the next day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I was like, hey, listen, I went on this date, she ran into the woods, and she's gone. Like, completely gone.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he thought that if, like, she didn't show up, her family would do it, and he's just a guy that went on 2 dates with her.
True, but still, if you're, like, concerned.
But then he would know something was really happening, because then he was the last one to see her alive.
Exactly.
Were you out on a...
But who sees their ex and then runs into the woods?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe she left, like, a Justin Timberlake CD in his car and needed to get it back. You never know. I mean, normally if people see their exes, they run the other way.
Exactly.
But this person was just like, hold my sandwich. And then just walked in there. Just like, oh, okay. There's a lot of these stories where I'm just like, I really want to hear the other end. Like, what was possibly going through her mind? And what was she doing? Like, was the ex there? Were they with family? Why was she gone for over an hour?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it doesn't make sense. That's the whole thing. It doesn't make sense that she was gone for an hour.
I think she just wanted out of the date, maybe.
But then why wouldn't she just get in her car and go?
Some people don't know how to do that. They just don't know how to break off from it.
But that just doesn't make sense. She could have easily just walked into the things, double backed without him seeing, and then got in her car and just peeled out.
True.
And then he wouldn't have been any the wiser. I don't know. I don't understand. But he did the right thing by cutting it off and leaving.
Yeah.
I would have left a long time ago after that. I wouldn't have waited there for a whole hour. Probably 10 to 15 minutes I would have waited, thinking she would have been back, and then I would have went to the car and waited mostly there. Because I'm like, if she doesn't see me at the place, she'll come back to the car. But seeing that, and also they didn't take one car.
Yeah, good thing.
Which yeah, I would think that people would just take one car to this picnic out in the middle. Like, they already had their first date. Why? Unless they were on other sides of the thing and they were meeting up in a picnic in the middle.
Yeah, well, maybe even though it's the second date, maybe they just didn't feel comfortable driving.
I don't know.
In the car.
Going out for crepes and drinks, that's a whole nother level.
Wow.
And to already get to the picnic date, oh my gosh. Wedding bells are in the air. Am I right? Can I just say I've never had a crepe date? I've had a picnic, but I think we were jumping the gun. Have you had a crepe date?
No.
I went to Denny's and IHOP, but I never ordered the crepes. That's how you know you're with the one, is you get the crepe.
Wow.
I've only ordered crepes with my family. Now I want to order the crepes with you. Forever.
So full of it.
Alright, so this is the last story. This is called Sorry I Offered.
Oh.
This is by August. And this story was made in August.
Coincidence.
Martha was all about talking to me about how great her older brother was. He was apparently some VP at a big bank in Kansas City or St. Louis, or one of those Midwestern cities that Google kept weirdly choosing as places to test their broadband. All right. Anyway, at dinner, Martha was showing me pictures of her brother, and the two of them together and the two of them separately, and even photos of her brother's vacation to Jamaica. Wow.
That's kind of pushing it.
Throw it in my face that he can go to Jamaica, man. Jamaica, man. You want to go to Jamaica, have some the beef patties. I had a teacher from, it was 9th and 10th grade. I had a teacher who was from Jamaica, Mrs. Wiss. And she was just like, she was so young, so naive, and all the dudes just had like a super crush on her. And she would always try to get us like to pay attention. Guys, quiet down, pay attention. And it's like, all right, nobody's paying attention to you. But then there was a mom. My friends always told the story. There was a swim practice, and there was a kid that was going out for the swim team named Ramon. And apparently he wasn't the best swimmer, but his mom showed up late to the practice because he like mentioned him passing to her. And so when she was like coming in, she looked over and saw Ramon about to jump into the pool like on the diving blocks and like as like an initiation or whatever. And so he jumped in, and like right when he jumped in, he started like flailing and kind of like falling in the pool, and all you hear is the mom go, "Ramon, what you doing? You can't swim." So whenever
So why was he even there?
Oh, we don't know. Maybe just try to fit in or whatever. You know, swim team's the coolest place. But then the Pirates of the Caribbean came out, and they had that one Jamaican like voodoo lady.
Yeah.
So whenever they told the story after that, they always added, "Ramon, what you doing? You can't swim to the ends of the earth."
That's horrible.
Okay. To the ends of the earth.
Wow.
Yeah. So whenever they tell the story, they always say that. All right. So Jamaican. So every photo was a beach photo of sand or water and the sand, or the same smiling doof in every shot, which I guess is the brother.
Yeah.
So when I asked Martha how often she saw her brother, the mood noticeably darkened. She said, "Not since that thing married him." I asked, "What thing? A donut? A taco?" "It's a taco, isn't it? They make awful, messy mates." Martha didn't join in the fun. She said, "He married one of his coworkers, and I almost never see him. He's allowed to call me on Christmas and maybe my birthday, and that's about it."
What?
When I tried calling him on his birthday, his stupid wife got on the phone and told me never to call him again. I said, "That's not right. Can you email him or text him to let him know this is a bad situation?" Martha replied, "She monitors his emails and texts. It's really bad." I agreed. It was really bad, and I didn't know how else to advise her, and just told her that I wished I could help more. The rest of the dinner went on, and I had a good enough time, so I told her I'd be in touch, which I was over the ensuing week. Oh, so he stayed in touch with her for the ensuing week. Gosh, I hate how they write some of these. During that week, though, something strange started to happen. I began to receive calls from a number I didn't recognize. The same number each time. They hung up when I picked up, and they never left a message. Well, that is until the day they left a message, and it was not a nice one. A woman with a low voice hissed into my email, "You will stop calling here, you." And she used all sorts of wonderful language, which was foul. I'm thinking foul language. They're just using sarcastic as wonderful.
Oh.
This was obviously a wrong number, and the next time she called, I picked up and told her so. There was a silence on the other end. There was a silence on the other end of the line, and then she barked some more curses at me and hung up. I ended up blocking the number, but then the email started. They were always from addresses like, I'm not going to say the address, and seemed to be pretty random, although Gmail said they were that they were sent directly to me, and they contain similar language to the words that weird woman used over the phone. This came up in conversation with Martha while we were talking about our weeks, and Martha said, "Sorry about that. I gave my brother's stupid wife your info and told her that if she had a problem with me getting in touch with my brother, that she could just call you."
What?
A bit stunned, I asked Martha why she would do that. Martha explained, "You said that you wished you could help, and you have.
Wow.
The woman needs a rage channel." I ended up blocking all of the angry sister-in-law's email addresses, and eventually the emails trickled out and stopped. As for Martha, I didn't think it was wise to continue on with her. After all, she clearly needed an insanity channel. Why? Why would... I didn't finish reading that one. I just saw how the size of it. But why would you do that? Why would you be like, "I wish I could help you," and then be like, "Oh, well, I'm going to give her all your info to the guy I was just dating"? I feel like she was using him or didn't want to be in the relationship anymore and wanted it all to stop. Like, that's the quickest way I could think of to not date somebody or have somebody stop dating you.
Yeah.
Without having to be like, "Hey, I don't think we should see each other anymore." Like, that's just insane to me. "Hey, yeah, here's the number of this guy that I just started dating. You should talk to him. He'll help out." It's like, no, don't do this.
That just doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
It's just why wouldn't you tell them, "Hey, listen, this is the ideal that I have," and then you guys could talk it out, and hopefully you would have said no.
Yeah, you know why? Because he would say no.
Exactly.
And she didn't want him to say no. She wanted him to be the knight in shining armor, or to completely just be like, "Peace, I'm out of here."
Yeah, but I mean, channeling rage. I mean, just it's not really anybody's place to be doing that.
I don't know. That's... And especially to basically a stranger.
Exactly.
Like, you've just been talking to this person for a couple of weeks, and then now you're being like, "Oh yeah, he'll have my back on this." It's like,
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing this. But that's like, at least you know that crazy now.
Yes.
Instead of waiting too deep into it, like 8 months later, and then it's like, "Oh, by the way, I gave you all the info."
But I feel bad for the brother.
You know what? He made his decision, though.
I know.
I mean, I
but-
feel bad for him, too, because it's a bad situation. He might not know about it.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't want to see it, but he continuously makes this decision every day.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I mean, it's a terrible situation, but... I mean, if he really wanted to see his family, he would make it a point to do it.
True, but I don't know. This is crazy to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to hear somebody doing it, but I mean, I've been somewhat of a similar position where females have not liked my friends or didn't want me hanging out with them all the time, so I just stopped. And it's like, that's not the right thing to do, especially if you actually like them and they're not doing anything terrible to you.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're in that situation like every day, but there's gotta be a point where you're just like a breaking point where you're like, "No, this is not how it's gonna be." Especially if you're gonna marry that person, and like he married her, so I mean,
Exactly.
it wasn't like he met her one day and then the next 2 days happened and then they just got married. Like, they had to have had like an engagement period, fiance period, and then it's like, oh, this was a bad situation for the whole engagement. But they'll change during the marriage.
No, they won't.
No, it just gets worse.
Exactly.
It's like adding a baby in a failing relationship because it'll be something new.
I never understood that whatsoever.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, the
No.
baby will change everything.
No.
You're just trying to put a mask on all your problems by putting it as a baby, and it just makes everything worse.
And they just keep doing that. Oh, we have problems again. Let's have kid.
Yeah. No. Let's
I'm
just
like,
not.
yeah.
How about we don't do that?
Yeah, and let's not resent the kids because of that. And like, you're a problem now.
Yeah. Because you were born, you were the problem.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I wasn't.
Don't put this on me.
You're crazy. Why can't I talk to my aunt? And it's like, she doesn't need to be... No. Not on your birthday. Maybe on her birthday you can call her.
Oh my god.
But, yeah, that was crazy. But, hey, one bright spot was that whole heroin thing.
Yes.
Kids, don't do heroin, if any kids are listening. Adults do. Don't do heroin.
Don't do any drug. Really.
Well, let's not get too crazy. So let's just stay away from heroin for now, and then we can work on the other
Okay, so we
drugs.
can, like, promote Crank and all that?
Whoa.
Hey, you're the one.
I love that movie. Go see Crank.
Don't do
Jason's-
Crank. Just see it.
Watch Crank. Don't crank on while watching Crank. But, ow. But, yeah. Don't do any drugs. I don't promote it. But, yeah,
Okay.
especially heroin. Don't do heroin. Living in where I live, a lot of meth happens. Don't do meth either. That's even worse.
Yeah, those are the harder drugs.
Yeah, well, trust me, I know. They tweak out here. Throwing laundry into the roads.
Wait, here?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, there was a woman by the 7-Eleven, and she had, like, a big basket of laundry. And, like, I was, like, waiting at the red light, like, across the street. And I was just like, I wonder if this... I was like, ooh, this is juicy. Some woman's boyfriend, she caught him cheating or something, and now she's, like, throwing all of his laundry in, like, the roads. Like, she was, like, picking him up, like, pretending to try to fold it, and it wasn't folding. And then, like, she threw it, and he clearly sees, like, she's, like, talking to herself or something.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, oh, this woman's boyfriend just totally, like, cheated on her, and now she's throwing all of his stuff in the roads, and then right when the light turned green and we, like, drove past her, she was, like, tweaking. She was, like, tweaking, her head was, like, bobbing up and down, and then she was, like, throwing laundry just everywhere, and I was like, nope, she's just on meth. And then I just drove past really quickly.
Wait, I just remembered the city's nickname, so
Yeah.
that makes sense now.
Yeah, it's all about meth. I live in Heisenberg. But yeah, so that's this week for the part 2 of the horrifying dating stories. I mean, not too bad this week.
Yeah, no.
Except the mask one. That one was creepy. But
I want to do that now, just for shits and
no,
giggles. Yes.
you're going to get arrested. In the place we live at, you're going to get arrested easily. But thank you for listening. Give us ratings on iTunes. Do whatever you want. I'm not going to beg. I'm not going to beg.
Not in this episode, no.
All the podcasts I listen to are like, oh, do this, do that. You know what? Do what you want. Give us what you want. But thank you for listening. Yeah, just do whatever you want. Just don't do heroin. But this was Mr. and Mrs. Connections. We'll be back next week with our normal format. We'll still do news in the beginning. We're trying to incorporate the news to help us with the new technologies of dating or just cool stories. And then we'll get into Craigslist misconnections for a random city. If you have a city, let us know where we should go. If not, we'll pick one at random. We'll see y'all next week. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Leilani.
And